My professional development session is for the staff members at my school, Parkland Middle School, and these staff members have ranging ability levels from first-time users of Google Jamboard to other staff who have used it in their classes before but might want some new ideas for implementation. So my session is on Google Jamboard. It's the second session out of 3. The first session is an introduction to Google Meets. This second session is Google Jamboard advisory games. All staff members have an advisory, so I thought it would be a great way to give everyone some ideas and easy ways to incorporate Google Jamboard. We're going to start with an introduction and check-in for about 5 minutes. Then the staff members will be put into breakout rooms on Google Meet. These groups will include staff members at a variety of technical skill levels. As a group, they'll play 3 advisory games. Then after a quick break, we will share our thoughts as a whole group through vocal communication and utilizing the chat feature on Google Meets. Everyone will share their thoughts and how they can incorporate Google Jamboard into their core classes as well. Then we will end with time for reflection and the completion of a formative assessment. So for our introductory activity, here's just an example of students using Google Jamboard. So it's a virtual whiteboard and you can make a picture, you can make a question, and students or staff members can add their opinions on Post-it notes. They can draw, they can add text, a lot of different ways to collaborate virtually and in live time. So the question for our staff members would be how comfortable you feel using Jamboard. This would be pulled up and staff members would add how they feel about using Jamboard as a starting point, and great way to practice using the program. Then we'd go on to the first advisory game once they're in their breakout rooms. It's called Guess the Parkland Teacher. So it's kind of like Guess Who. And there are multiple examples of things that teachers would use to describe them. So if someone likes music, drama, bowling, etc. And where it says guess is where the people would guess who they think it is. Here's another example of a different teacher. There would be 3 for the staff members to guess. And then if they have extra time, they can also make their own using pictures that would describe them to use with their own students. And we could even put them all together to make a school-wide Guess the Teacher activity. Here's the blank template for them to use to make their own. The second game is categories, but it's based on our school. So each slide has a different letter, and the participants will need to come up with answers to the question starting with that letter. So the first letter would be P. They would then do A, and then R for the last one, just to try it out. The last game is Sometimes, Always, Never. So each staff member will be given a phrase. It's from the student perspective, so it's just to see how it would work with their students. And they would just move a Post-it note with their name to what they would agree with. So if you never complete your homework on time, you would put your Post-it note on never with your name on it. If you do sometimes, always, great way to check in with students. Some more examples of questions include, I use my time wisely, I'm friends with other students on my team, I'm happy with myself. So just some examples to give the staff members ideas of how to use this in their own classroom. And then at the end, we're going to discuss the 3 games and have some time for staff to reflect and think of how they can use these games not only in their advisory, but also create different activities for their classes. For example, sometimes, always, never, that could also be used with content knowledge and different things to see if students agree or disagree. So just a discussion to give everyone ideas of how to use Google Jamboard in their everyday teaching.